Hey, so it's just a quick video to show you how the grade calculator works. And thankfully for making this vid, I've picked up a few mistakes. So I'll upload a new version. Apologies for anyone who tried to use it when, what the fuck is this? So in 125, 124 and 114, click on the pin icon and you'll find the grade calculator. Click on that. It'll open it up in a browser and then open up as an Excel file. So from the top, the way it's built, the way it's constructed, these here are your weighted outcomes. So when you have a look at your course, how will I be assessed moment thing from your course outline, you see 10, 10, 35 and 45, 10, 10, 35 and 45. Same with Sci 124 and Sci 114. Okay, and they all equal 100. Right, so all you do here, go to your grades page in Milo. Now some things aren't out yet, so we don't have a reflection, for instance, but we have our quizzes so far. So 9.33. When the next quiz drops in here for me, these will all change to 2.5, but so it'll still be a score out of 10. Your midterm, thanks for the 10-point bump, psychology staff and Jason Sattel. So you enter your midterm in there. Now obviously that's looking at 41.88% year to date. But now this is where we get to play around, and this is why I love grade calculators, because if I get my reflection back and let's say I got 8 points, so I got an 80%, I got an HD, and let's say on the exam, which I've put in here as a score out of 100, I get an HD, my borderline on both, then I know I'll be an HD overall, presuming I score well on this final quiz. I forgot to add. Let's say I get the final quiz and I get a few wrong. There we go. So then on the exam, we can start to find out, actually I can get a distinction on the exam if I get an 8 on the reflection, and I'll still be in high distinction territory. And you can, it's going to be somewhere here, yeah, 68. So I need to get an 8 on the reflection, and I need to get 68 on the exam, and I can afford to get 1 or 2 questions wrong in the last quiz, or 1 question wrong in the last quiz, and I'll be a high distinction overall. Now I'm pretty confident I'll get higher than that score there, but you never know. It's good to work out what your minimums are. 124, same again. So I changed my grades page over to 124. Reflection 8.5. Treatment we haven't got back yet. Quizzes. Now in here you'll see it's out of 20 already, so they've already got the score in here, unlike 125 where the final score was missing from the calculation under the weight achieved. So we know that it's a score out of 10. Let's say I get a 9 out of 10. So I'm going to get 3.6. So my final score will be 17.6. So 17.6. Then on the final exam, which I believe is 120 questions. Let me check that. Yep, I've put it as 120. Then I think that was probably, yeah, bang on, 96. So if I get a higher distinction, just 96 out of 120 questions, right? And I get 8.5 on the reflection, 17.6 on the quizzes, and let's say in the treatment, I got 8.5 on the reflection. In the treatment, let's say that's out of 20, and so for that, 16, yep, 16. Let's say I got a high distinction there, I'd now have 82.1. Now 96 feels really high, makes me break out into a cold sweat. So if I go to 90, yeah, okay, so if I can lock in the treatment, which I won't because my paper was shit, at 16 out of 20, which is an HD, and if I can get that last quiz, and that's the score I get in exams, I'll get an HD. But let's say my worst fears are realised. There we go, bang on a distinction. I now need to get back to 96. So if I get just a distinction on treatment, I need 96 in the final. Alright, so now if we have a look at stress, self-care and mindfulness, so 4.92, I've kind of messed up the measures here, sorry. Up here I put it like out of 10 or out of 20 or whatever. Down here I've got straight percentages. So my first journal was a 70. Let's say my next 3 journals are a 70. Part of the mark for the journal is showing on the screen here engagement and completion out of 10, so we'll call that, yeah, we'll say that bugger it, we'll go 70. Then we say the presentation, which is a score out of 45, and let's say I get a higher distinction there, and then on the community section, which is out of 10, let's say I'm going to put a bit of effort into that. I'll do like chatting to people, so that takes me up to a distinction. And from there, I go, right, well, I actually did better on Journal 2. I'm much happier with my efforts in Journal 2 than certainly in Journal 1. So let's say I might even get an HD. And then if I apply the lessons I've learned from there consistently into Journal 3, now I'm looking to be in the kind of territory that I want to be in. And so for me, it would come down to, I really need to knock it out of the park with my final presentation. I need at least an 81, because 80 was just under. Yeah, so that's it. It lets you play with your scores. It lets you predict. This is not about what is the minimum I need to do. Like most people, I've got very limited time in my week. I've got 24 hours to do 3 units. So mathematically, and if you think of Jim's lectures this week, mathematically, it's not achievable to give everything all the time it needs. So I need to know where my critical points are to put that attentional effort so that I can get the outcome that I want. That's the vid, far longer than I intended, but thanks for watching.